Oh, but Ego, the WBO ordered Terence Crawford versus Fundora. So, what that mean? WBO orders Terence Crawford, super champion at welterweight, to face none other than new champion Sebastian Fundora, who just defeated Tim Tszyu. Here we go. From the top, WBO Champion Committee negotiation letter. It says, reply, WBO Junior Middleweight Mandatory Championship Contest. Sebastian Fundora versus Terence Crawford, right? This is the letter from the WBO with company letterhead, and it's sent to Tom Brown, TGB Promotions, who works with Team Fundora, PBC fighters, as well as Terence Crawford, Mr. Harris Whitman, so his legal advisor, right? I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it says, gentlemen, please be advised, my birthday, March 25th. Shout out to everybody who sent Cash Apps and PayPal and just birthday wishes in general on my birthday, March 25th, a king was born. It says, please be advised that on Ego's birthday, this committee granted sanction approval of the Tszyu Fundora WBO Voluntary Championship Contest, which was held on the 30th at T-Mobile Arena, yada, yada, yada. They approved this, and it was granted subject to the winner facing the mandatory challenger, the junior middleweight division's Terence Bud Crawford, within 180 days after the Tszyu Fundora bout. The foregoing condition was essential for purposes of sanction approval. So basically, in layman's terms, what this is saying to you is we allowed and granted this to be a WBO fight, Tim Tszyu versus Fundora, because initially Tim Tszyu was supposed to face Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, that fight, I'm pretty sure the WBO did not approve that fight. Keith Thurman was a welterweight. He's not like Crawford in terms of a super champion. So, and they were fighting at a catchweight. So that fight wasn't going to be for the WBO title. When the contest was moved from Keith Thurman to Fundora, they decided to make the WBO eligible, which is great for Fundora because he ended up winning, you know, and had they not done that, then Sebastian Fundora would have just got the win against Tim Tszyu with no belt at the end. So what this is saying is basically we allowed you guys to fight under one condition, that the winner faces Terence Crawford. Therefore, in light of the above and per the WBO regulations, yada, 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 the parties are hereby ordered to commence negotiations for a WBO championship bout. Camps are granted 20 days to negotiate, reach an agreement, order the 20-day negotiation period, etc. The minimum bid for like a purse bid is $200K. So that's basically it. Some people have hit me up basically asking my thoughts on this. Oh, hey, what about Errol Spence? He jumped in the ring and, you know, this, that, and the third. Listen, let me explain to you. Alexa, studio light on. Let me explain to you how this works. Errol Spence absolutely hopped in the ring after Tim Tszyu, which I said previously, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, just my thoughts, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. That meant something. That was, like, first of all, I know fighters personally, right? Like, on a personal level, no fighters, blah, blah, blah. This, what happened with Errol Spence, was deliberate. You see Jordan Plant, and she's pointing the mic, the mic that says PBC, right? Pointing it at Errol Spence and doing an interview with Errol Spence. You see Sam Watson in the back. You see Fundora right there with the 2 belts that he just won. Let's not act like we don't know how this goes. So again, I know fighters personally, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I know fighters. You have to understand the fighter temperament. Fighter temperament. A lot of these guys, they feel they're ready. Like, boxing's a business, so guys, they'll feel that they're ready for whoever. Like, hey, I want to fight. Won't want to. Give me the fight. So many fighters, even if they're not anywhere in line to get said fight, they'll jump in the ring, or they'll want to jump in the ring and confront the person, put pressure on, fighter A. Like, hey, fight me. I'm in your division, fight me. But sometimes the business doesn't make sense for those 2 fighters to fight. So that's not a fight that would be considered by the promoter. So oftentimes in these situations, what happens is you'll have promotional PR people or security or whatever. They don't let people just hop in the ring when they're doing the post-fight like interview, because it could just turn ugly. And then here's the other thing is, like, why would you want to do that, and do it for what if you don't have any plans of matching? So just to give you guys some examples, Teofimo Lopez, after certain victories, Arnold Barboza was a person that was trying to fight Teofimo. At the time, he was with Top Ranked, etc., etc. So he was trying to get in the ring, and Teo and his side was like, nah, we don't want that. Like, please don't let him in the ring. Please don't make that fight. That's a weak fight. Whatever. Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo had an exchange. Keyshawn was about, there's videos of this. Keyshawn Davis was about to get in the ring after Teofimo's last fight, I believe, with Jermaine Ortiz. And the PR people and the Top Rank people were like, nah. You know what I mean? Because again, the situation could turn into something, and could become a liability. So again, the reason why I'm giving you guys these other fight examples is because they smoothly let Errol Spence Jr. in the ring, and they interviewed him, and Sebastian Fundora is right there. So like, this looks a little bit more deliberate. It doesn't look like a situation where Errol snuck in the ring. It's like almost like they knew. Does that make sense? It's like they knew, like this was like part of it. Like they knew that Errol Spence would be getting in the ring or something. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I think there's things behind the scenes where there's a strong possibility that Errol Spence could get Fundora. As far as the fight being ordered, why are you guys telling me that? What does that change? Anything. You can order anything. You can order a pizza. You can order DoorDash. I don't mean it's going to make it to your house. What if they get lost? What if somebody like quits DoorDash in the middle of their shift and eats your pizza? I mean, you know what I mean? You can order anything. So people are like, oh, but Ego, it was ordered. Okay. How many other fights have you seen that were ordered or you thought they were going to happen? Like Canelo Benavidez, didn't get ordered, but everyone thought that would be a likely suitor for Canelo. Canelo went a different route. Terence Crawford, Boots, has been calling out Errol's and the Crawford, said the Boots fight makes no sense for him. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't even understand why people still believe because something is quote unquote ordered that somehow, some way, that means the fight must happen or will happen. It's just not the case. The WBC, they've ordered fights like Dillian White and Luis King Kong Ortiz. To this day, those two have not fought each other, right? So the WBC, they have their conventions, and then they have a list of fights that they ordered. I mean, how many of those fights actually have manifested into the point where you've seen the fight immediately after because they were ordered? So just because you order something doesn't mean anything at all. The other thing is, you look at this, basically this notary from the WBO basically saying that Fundora and Team Crawford have 20 days to negotiate. If I'm not mistaken, Fundora got a little bit of damage in the zoo fight to his nose. So I don't see him negotiating with Crawford within 20 days. And what's likely to happen is Team Fundora, they might, because you have to understand, all this stuff is just rules and protocol. And, you know, the WBO, Crawford says, I want to move up and fight the winner. Per their rules, he's eligible to do that, right? That's just how it goes. But also per your rules, there's other rules where, like the IBF, when Kell Brook lost to Triple G and he was supposed to fight Errol Spence as mandatory, he petitioned and he got like a medical extension so he didn't have to lose his belt, and he had a little bit of like cushion to negotiate a Errol Spence fight thereafter. Now, the IBF is not the same as the WBC or the WBO, so on and so forth. The WBA, they all have their own rules. I'm not going to look through everyone's rule book because I'm not the promoter. I'm not managing a fighter. But if you look at their rule book, there's probably something where you can get medical exemptions and stuff like that. The other thing, if the business has determined that Errol Spence and Fundora is the fight that they want to make, he has 2 belts. He can just drop the WBO belt, and then Crawford would have to fight whoever, either get elevated to the full WBO champion without fighting anyone, which really wouldn't benefit Crawford at age 36. I mean, if you just got the belt, or the number 1 person within the WBO is Josh Kelly. I mean, maybe they order something like that, Crawford versus Josh Kelly. But from my standpoint, I don't think that's a good fight. Kelly already lost to a guy that Crawford knocked out, and I know that's a triangle theory, but I'm just saying the value of that fight in 2024 is very low. You know, Crawford, sensational talent. Josh Kelly, you know, he's cool, he's good, but he has that loss to David Avocado. It's just not a big fight in America at all. Not a big fight at all. So we'll see how it all plays out, but people wanted me to make a video because the WBO Junior Middleweight Championship contest was ordered to negotiate, which to me really means nothing because, again, there's different avenues that can be taken. I guess we have to wait and see which will happen, you know?